We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy Show. Well, welcome to the Couples Academy Show. How are you? My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle. Can you hear me?
They can hear you.
Okay.
The Queen is here. Good to be next to my road dog.
Yes.
As we do what we do on this show.
Roll princess.
Okay,
Roll
we'll do that. But
Thank
you're here,
you.
babe.
Yes.
Welcome. We want to know who you are, where you're dialing in from, what city, what state, what country. We appreciate that you are with us here on this particular episode. Make sure.
You like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, y'all. That way you will not ever miss a show. Do you know that you are helping to spread this message across the 4 corners of the earth? It's an incredible thing. Wow. Marriages are being affected and saved, transformed all over because of your because of your share and your subscribing. Just like you're getting the help that you need. You want to share that help. And it's the giving season. So give somebody a link, give somebody a clue, and a connection to the Couples Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been in this series talking about how to revive a dead marriage, and today we're going to talk about 10 ways to resurrect your marriage. And I think it's important that we do so because so many people, it's interesting, we talk about this all the time, as you're entering the end of a year, people are considering, do I just allow this relationship to fizzle out? Have we come to the end? Are we at the end of the road? Should we just move on, start something new? I don't know. I want a fresh start. I want a new thing in the new year. And we think that having something new means killing old things, which are our relationships. But the reality is it doesn't have to be that way. You can turn things around. And that's why we're excited about what we do, because we were once there. We were once in a dead-end place in our marriage. And, sometimes you just feel like throwing in the towel, calling it quits, giving up. You don't believe anything's possible, but something was able to change within us, which inspired us to be able to have a passion to help other couples as well.
I think it's interesting what you said about, at the end of the year, the New Year's resurrection, everybody's trying to create a new vision. And whatever they're anchored to, they want to get as far away from it as possible if they think it's going to hinder their progress or hinder what they're going to do this year. We all do it, right? You start out the gate running strong with all of your new intentions. And to Hassani's point, I don't want to miss that we have this idea that in order for me to build something new from where I'm at, I've got to demo everything that's underneath me. You don't always have to start from scratch. You can continue to build from where you are. And that just means shifting your mindset, shifting your perspective, and how you actually see things. Because at the end of the day, we are the sum culmination of how we see the world. And it's not the truth, it's your truth.
Wow.
Which means that there's a higher truth that you can both submit to and build something together and get to the next level. Could you imagine what you can build on top of what already is there in the new year?
I like what you just said. You said it's not the truth, it's your truth. And oftentimes when we feel strong about something or have these deeply embedded belief systems about particular things, we've made it the absolute truth. And it's not the truth. Right. It's your truth. And when you're in a relationship with someone who has their own truth competing with your truth, that's where the gridlock happens. That's what conflict is. 2 opposing agendas operating in the same place at the same time, and there's no breakthrough. But when you're willing to suspend your own agenda, suspend your own perspective and way in seeing things, knowing that it's possible that there's another way, there's another side, there's another perspective. You can shift out of the stuck place that you're in be able to have something that you never had.
We just had this amazing Last Chance weekend that we just completed. Another group of phenomenal couples, audacious couples that are ready to take this life by storm. They inspire us every time. But we talked a lot about shifting your perspective. And one of the things I shared is how I had this mindset and this perspective about Hassani that was I thought was immovable. And that was, he ain't never gonna change. Not he's not ever going to change. He ain't never gonna change. So it didn't matter what he said, his compliments, his actions, his gifts, his I'm gonna do better next time. It didn't matter because I already had a set perspective, a mindset about who he was, an assumption about why he was doing everything that he was doing, because at the end of the day, he's just gonna go back and do all the things that he usually does. He ain't never gonna change. And it took for me to let go of that assumption, that perspective, in order for me to actually, it's almost like the scales fell off my eyes and I was able to see the reality, because I was living in my truth, not the truth. He was actually changing. He was doing things on a regular to show me he was different, but I was stuck in my perspective.
And what's deep about that is oftentimes we rob ourselves of the present moment because we're still haunted by the ghosts of our relational past, and you look at your partner through a prison, a paradigm, right? It's just like, regardless of what you're doing today, I still see who you were, and I'm imprisoning you to your past, and I'm not allowing myself to be open to the new you, because I can't trust that. I don't know that. I don't, you probably gonna go back to your old ways. So rather giving you a chance and giving you an opportunity, I'm going to remain stuck. Now the hurt that was caused in the past isn't happening anymore. Now you're hurting yourself because you're trapped in that memory, trapped in that thought, and won't free yourself. So not only are you imprisoning your partner, you're imprisoning yourself, which keeps your marriage in a prison. Yeah. And that's how we go from soulmate to roommate to roommate to cellmate, where you feel trapped in a marital prison, because the prison is really right here in your mind. So when you talk about changing perspective and changing mindset, boom, that's the key to it. That's the beginning. And what happens is so many people come to these last chance weekends with this mindset. Their minds are set in a way of thinking. They're fixed in a way of thinking, and they realize day one, oh my God, I've been thinking wrong all along.
We through the process, we break all that. We sledgehammer all that fixed, cemented mindset that's going on, so that we literally bust through those perspectives so that you can actually see clearly. And the coolest thing is to watch the room have an awakening. It's not just one person, it's everybody's having an awakening at the same time. It's almost like positive peer pressure. Like, wow, that person we were on the same page at lunch, and now I see they have awakened to the truth. Maybe I could change after 15 years of nonsense.
But it's so deep, because people come in with an agenda to fix their partner. I hope they say what she need to hear, what he needs to hear that. Yep. It's just like when you go to church, when you hear a message, such and such needed to be here to hear this message. No, you needed to hear this message, joker. But what happens is there's a shift that happens. And so on that note, there's a testimony I want to play by one of the brothers who came down here. It's really powerful, and you hear what his agenda was when he came and what happened to him in the midst of being here. So let's check this out, and then we'll get into today's topic.
Hello, my name is Darren Wilson. I am from Illinois. I come down to the Couples Academy with my wife because our marriage was in a place that I didn't want to be in. I had emotional affairs with the woman, and it really hurt my wife. And she was ready to walk away from this marriage. We've been married 15 years, and I understood where she was at. So I reached out to the Couples Academy and the team, and they were tremendous. Got here to Georgia, and at first coming in, I was anticipating everything that I had saw and read about it. I was expecting things to just turn out and to be to really point the finger at my wife, to show her what she did wrong. And this weekend allowed me to look into myself and see where I was wrong, and to look at the things that I was doing, try to justify my actions. Friday, after the reveal, or when everything came out, that was hard. The disclosure was, to me, harder than I thought, because I had to hear some things about myself and I had to also hear some things that my wife had did, and that hurt. It hurt, and honestly, I kind of gave up on the process. I was ready to just say, you know what? I didn't know it was that deep, so I was ready to throw the towel in. But the team down here kept reassuring me, man, just trust the process, trust the process. And it was hard. It was hard because I like to see the outcome, and I couldn't see the outcome from where I was. I couldn't see my wife going home with me. I couldn't see us together. But the next day, oh man, that was a pivotal moment for me because it allowed me to see some things and to really pull up some emotions that, man, I just didn't really think I had for my wife. I mean, I thought, you know, okay, she leave. But after that exercise, I couldn't imagine my wife leaving. I couldn't imagine a day without my wife. So then to come back after that exercise to be reunited with my wife, oh man, I felt something in her. When she hugged me and I hugged her, the hug was different. It was a reassuring hug. So coming back from the exercise and to feel the embrace, to feel the love, it was an awesome experience. And later on that day, just throughout the day, the tools that we got, everything that the team presented, all the tools, all of the facts, all of the videos, information, the note taking, man, it was a surreal experience because going through that, it just built up the hope that was there. It made it bigger than me. I mean, it was the hope that I walked away from Saturday night was just, it was awesome. And the last day, you know, just sitting around, just checking out the vibe, you know, just looking at my wife from a different perspective now, seeing her in a way that I hadn't seen her in a while, you know, paying attention to her now. And this thing has really been a blessing to me, you know, so, I would encourage anybody that's going through any kind of problems in your marriage, even if you're not going through problems, I would encourage you to check out the Couples Academy. Why? Because it will take your marriage to another level. You know, I know where I was at. I know where we were as a couple. And to walk away from here with hope, to walk away from here going back home to my kids. Me and my wife are one. We're no longer two broken people. We no longer see each other as roommates. We walking out of here as a couple. Like the team said, from power struggle to power couple. And we can see that now. We can see that. We can see there's a vision for that. And with the tools that we have acquired, I'm gonna say this. You give us 6 months and we will be a demonstration of that power couple.
Ooh-wee. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not a crier, but that one I was just like, I was going through because I know how they came. They came in one way, one perspective, in a place of just not knowing how am I gonna get from where I'm at right now to what I've seen in the testimonials. Because the reason why they're here is from these testimonials. These are the reasons why they're here. They come on the hope that maybe if it helps them, it'll help me. But when you get here and you're sitting in your pain, in your misery, in your stuff, it's hard to see how in 3 days, complete and total transformation. But the look on his face at the end of the video, I'm just like, oh my God. He's just so full of hope and purpose. If you don't have purpose and direction in your life, in your marriage, for your family, you have nothing. You are a ship lost at sea. And they came here lost at sea, and now they have a direction, they have a compass, they have a sail, and they know what they're gonna do, and it's powerful. They're sticking with us for the Moving Forward program.
Oh, they're in the program.
So happy that we get to work with them for the next 6 months and make sure that they do not go off chart.
Just let's acknowledge the people who are here, and then we're gonna get into some information that's gonna be helpful.
Well, I want to say hello to Kathy. Good morning. Thank you for the prayers. Everybody knows Hassan and I just came through the battle of our lives fighting COVID. And so many of you guys prayed and sent cards and sent things and just checked on us every day. I see Tanya Dupree in here, who was literally our virtual nurse. Kathy prayed. Jewel, oh my God, Jewel, thank you so much for reaching out and just checking on us, guys. We really appreciate it. We say it all the time, just because we know a lot of people doesn't mean that we have a lot of people in our circle that we're connected to that actually reach out and care about us, the people. Hassani, Danielle, not the big everything else. And so it really touched our hearts, all of you who reached out to us and prayed us through, and here we are as a result of it. So I want to say hello to Kathy, good morning to Jesse, good morning to Jewel, good morning to Shelise. Good morning to Jessica, Michelle, Francisco, Daryl, Ralph, Gonzalez, my brother. You and your wife came through for us. Thank you so much, twin. Francisco, and I think we've named everybody. Valencia, good morning. Danielle, Jackie, they're coming in now. JG, good morning. And Happy Martinez, good morning.
And to all the people who we don't know who you are, but you're here, we appreciate you, we love you, we're glad you continue to tune in, continue to do so. And thank you for hanging out with us. So, because this is what we do. We have a conversation with people around the world talking about life, love, relationships, and what we need to do to get things back on track. And from time to time, we're gonna share stories with you because, as they say, facts tell, but stories sell. They make you a believer. Now, here's the deal. We were in a bad place. I talked about how I went from a car crash to COVID. I felt like I was on death's door. And oftentimes in your relationship, you feel the same way. You feel like your relationship is on death's door. And I explained yesterday that as long as you're married, there's life there, but it can feel dead. But let's just go along with the narrative that you may have, that the love is dead, the relationship is dead, the marriage is over, it's done, done. Well, let's go along with that narrative. Even if that was your truth, or even if that was the absolute truth, one thing that we do know, and there are several examples of it. Now, that we're people of faith, so we're believers. We believe in a God who had a son named Jesus, who died for our sins. He died. His life was over. And then 3 days later, he rose again. He went through a resurrection, right? So even when there is no life, even when you're dealing with inanimate objects, which means there's no life in it, there's still hope and a possibility that things can turn around. There's a resurrection power that exists within us, that exists within our relationship. And if we just move away from faith for a second, because some of you, as you know, we have many clients who are Muslim and Jews and atheists and of all types of faith traditions or no faith tradition at all. Here's the fact of the matter, folks. Many people have died. They've lost their life. And they've been brought back to life. I mean, think about all of the examples of people in the hospitals who they were dead. Flatline, nothing there.
Clear.
And boom, either some, gone.
You're gone.
Just
they
gone.
Gotta bring you back.
They got to bring you back.
Yes.
And maybe they were gone for just minutes on that table, but they transitioned and it felt like hours or days, whatever the case may be, because time is different when you're in the body versus out the body. That's another conversation we can get deep on. That's deep. But the point was, they were classified as officially dead. But yet and still, either through the power of prayer or through medical devices, whatever the case may be, they were revived. They were resurrected. Think about a marriage that ends in divorce, but yet still there's a desire to get back together. Don't you know that there's a percentage of couples who actually remarry each other? Matter of fact, one of the couples that we work with, we helped remarry them after their divorce. So even, listen, I know some of you feel like this is hopeless, this is pointless, things are never gonna get any better, I can't see how it's possible. That's why we share these stories, to let you know what's possible for you, because other people were where you now are and they're in a better place. And if they can do it, you can do it. So listen, let's talk to you about how you can begin to resurrect this dead marriage that you are in, so that life can come back into you.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Can we talk about it?
There's many things you have to do, right? There's many things that you have to do. So we want to go through them. We want to take our time to make sure that it sinks in.
And we're going to jump into the first one, but I just want to talk about potential real quick. Potential. Potent. Potential is potent. Potent power. All of the things that you could do, could be. You don't want to die and go and meet your maker, leaving all the potential inside of you. You have some explosive potential if you will do certain things. And who has the highest potential? God.
God.
He's the creator of all. He created the universe, everything that we see, do, the highest potential. And he breathed life into you. And so that means that you are nothing more than a big ball of walking human potential.
And if there's potential within you, is it possible that there's some type of potential in your marriage?
In your marriage.
Is that possible?
We say this all the time. One thing that is a fact is that the trials and journeys of life, you do not get to avoid or skip. None of us do. None of us get to avoid. They come in different seasons of our lives. For some of us, it hit us as a child. We went through hell, high water, struggle. For some of us, it's later on in life, right? But you don't get to avoid it. So you end up walking away from this relationship to get into another relationship. You still didn't work out the issues within you. You're gonna face the same challenge over and over again. Let's face this challenge right now. Let's deal with it now.
So let's dive in. We're gonna take our time with this: ways to resurrect your dead marriage. Number one,
map it out. That just means coming up with a plan, right? What is the deal with us that we are grown folks and we don't have grown folks conversation? Like, why are we skipping the adulting part of life? You know, we're folding our arms, we're walking away, we're doing the silence game, not communicating. We're making assumptions about what's going on because we refuse to open our mouth, ask questions, and get clarity. It is our responsibility to have grown folks conversation and sit down and say, hey, look, real talk, like, this isn't working. Like, would you agree? Like, this is just not working.
Right.
It's broken, this ain't right, I'm not connected to you, I'm not feeling love from you, I'm not wanting to have intimacy with you, our finances are out of whack, our children are out of whack, we have no order and decency in our home, no government in our home. Let's sit down and create a plan to take us to the next level.
A plan, right. And this is why we stress that it's so important as a couple to have dedicated sacred space to have conversations when you're showing up in your right mind with an agenda to talk through some issues in a non-emotional way, not because sometimes we're motivated to talk when we're pissed, when we're saddened, and our feelings and our emotions get in the midst of the conversation, and we never get to the core of the issue. And it's almost like when you go to your job, if you have a business meeting, if you're meeting with somebody at the bank, there's an agenda. You're in your right mind. There's a balance between heart and head. You don't come in all pissed off and all emotional because it won't allow you to be productive in anything you're talking about. Absolutely. And so now when I talk to you, I'm talking about my pain, I'm talking about my hurt, I'm talking about what I don't like, I'm pointing the finger. All I'm doing is I'm just throwing mud.
That's it. And that's one of the frustrating things about counseling sessions, is that oftentimes couples come in there to sling mud and not to resolve issues. Like, why not come to a session saying, hey, we done mapped out this plan, can you help us implement it? Like, but instead, you out here talking about what she did this week and what he did this week wrong. He didn't hold up his end of the bargain, all of that, and we're not getting to a place of resolution.
Yeah.
Go to the next one.
Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is turn inward. Like, this is a huge thing, guys, because as we just said, we're looking at our partner and focusing on what they're not, what they should be doing, what they need to do to get it together. And we talked about this all the time. When we were trying to work on our marriage, we were trying to really indirectly fix each other. But when you turn inward, and you realize that, wait a minute, yeah, I have a relationship with you, but I had a relationship with me before you. I was living my life by myself, with myself before you. And truth be told, I brought in some issues. I had some idiosyncrasies. I had some baggage, some stuff I didn't deal with. I have these deeply embedded belief systems, this creed, this way of showing up that really compromises what we have as a couple. And truth be told, this description of the Bible, I got to pull it, and it says that oftentimes the conflict that exists between two people are a result of the internal conflict we have with ourselves.
So true. Turn inward. You know, we talk about drawing the circle around your own 2 feet. The way to turn inward is self-discovery. There's no other way, because we are looking outside from the inside out. Right? And oftentimes we're so unaware of how we are showing up in the world. But interestingly, everybody else knows. People are afraid to sometimes tell you how you show up, how you're looking. You sound crazy. You act crazy. But people don't want to tell you because you may be too explosive to handle the truth. And so how do you deal with that? You dial into yourself. You go through a process of self-discovery, unearthing all that stuff. Look at it. Deal with it, make peace with it, close it out. It's a process. You have to do it. I think about just being anchored to pain. When I was a kid, there was this dude that had this pit bull in the neighborhood. They were afraid of the pit bull. They had him chained in the middle of the yard to a stake. Okay? And he would just run around in a circle. He was moving, but in that same circle, so much to the point that the grass that was there was just run the heck off. It was a dirt trail in there that he was running around. This dog was running around, moving, but in a circle. They would throw meat at him. They were so scared of this dog. Was he moving? Yeah. But was he going anywhere? No. He was going nowhere because he was anchored in that position. And many of us are anchored to our past. Stuff that our partner had nothing to do with, that's causing you to act in ways that are detrimental to your relationship. The only one that can change that is you. Your partner can't change you as much as they are trying. They are literally trying to change you. But you are the only person that can take charge of your life and make changes. And that happens when we look within. Get your Enneagram done.
You're the lowest common denominator in every relationship you enter into. The relationship you have with your kids, you're the lowest common denominator. The relationship you have with your spouse, you're the lowest common denominator. The relationship you have with your friends, your coworkers, you're the lowest common denominator. And if we're honest with ourselves, right? What's your stuff? What have other people said about you that your spouse has been saying, but it's been hard for you to hear? Like, what is the stuff that you've denied? What is the stuff that you've become oblivious to? What is the stuff that you just chose not to acknowledge and move on with life? And the truth is, when you have these internal conversations with yourself, you know what it is, but ego and pride and all those other things get in the way, and it keeps you from showing up the way that you need to show up in the relationship. And so therefore, all you do when you do articulate things is everything your spouse is doing wrong and everything your spouse needs to fix. But the reality is, if you took the time to really go inward, living life from the inside out, digging deep within yourself, assessing, why am I the way that I am? What's the root cause? Where did it come from? All those different things, then it would help you. It would help you to realize, wait a minute, maybe there's something within me that I need to work on. And if I work on me, there's a benefit that the marriage would have. And maybe this thing can be resurrected. Maybe this thing can be revived. That's the key, guys. That's the key.
Absolutely. Go to the next point.
The next point. Stop assuming.
Assumptions. We just talked about that. Assumptions will kill and destroy your relationship, because here you are watching what you assume to be certain actions for certain intentions. And guilty as charged. We talk about all the time, me assuming that the actions that Hassani is taking, he just want to get some. That's the reason why he is showing up in the way that he's showing up. It's been a minute, it's been a week or two, because I'm holding out because I just don't like him. And now he want to be nice because he wants to get some. See, these are the assumptions that we make that actually infuriate us. They make us even more angry, even more resentful, and we've literally created the story in our minds. There is most likely minimal truth to what you are assuming that person's actions are. Why not get clear on those actions?
And when you have that level of clarity, it allows you to show up a certain type of way. The reality is most communication is a result of misunderstanding because of those assumptions that we make. And we presume and assume faulty assumptions, misinterpretations, attaching false meanings to our partner's message. And so we become our own main problem in our relationship when it comes to our communication. We're always talking about the other person, but it's really us.
Darren says assume-a-side.
I love that. I'm stealing it and never giving you credit for that again.
Assuming something that can be like suicide for our marriage.
Wow.
Write it down,
Boom.
everybody.
I think that's a mic drop.
It's a mic drop. When
And that's
it
a bomb.
comes to assuming, it is a suicide, and you should get you a mark and write it on your mirror so that every time you get up in the morning and brush your teeth, you say, no more assuming, because it's a suicide.
Wow. Guys, we're just getting started. We're laying a foundation, but we want you to get this in your mind. We want you to chew on it a little bit. We talk about this all the time. Sit down with your partner, have a conversation, watch the video together, unpack it, see what it can do for you. And we're going to continue tomorrow. We want to let you know that we love you. We appreciate you being here. We're going to end with a few announcements, and then we're going to transition out. But listen, stay tuned. Last Chance Weekend, once again, it is coming up. It is January the 7th through the 9th. You do not want to miss it. So make sure you reach out, set up a discovery call. Let's make this happen. We love you guys, and we will see you soon.